Hello, purpose-driven career leaders. My name is Kori Burkholder, founder of Purpose-Driven Career Accelerator program. And today I wanted to introduce Isabella, who recently finished the program. And we wanted to connect today because it's been about a month since she finished up and wanted to, talk about her experience and what she got and where she is today. And without further ado, this is Isabella. Welcome. It's so nice to see you again.
So nice to see you too. Hi.
Yeah. So, Isabella, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're calling in from today.
I'm calling in from Virginia. And yeah, I am about sort of my background, how I came to be working with you. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was living in New Jersey and I have been teaching for a couple years and in between that tutoring and working in various schools and working with kids and working as a camp counselor. And yeah, I was just had just closed that chapter, had sort of left teaching, and was really struggling with clarity. What do I do next? What am I good at? Um, Teaching had been sort of very stressful, and I had often kind of struggled in that career, and so I was just um, yeah,
At a
looking for
crossroads.
direction, looking for clarity, and you have helped with that.
Yeah, great. Well, I'm excited to dive into your journey even deeper. So, what do you think the biggest frustration was for you when you reached out for support? Like, what was happening?
I think I had sort of ideas of what I was good at. Um, and I sort of had sort of an idea, the way that we all kind of do about, oh, what am I passionate about? What lines up with what. But I had been, um, I guess I had been in this teaching construct for a couple of years and had been kind of struggling with that. And there had been sort of a lot of kind of negative experiences and a lot of stress that came with the
Mhm.
job. And I guess that had been my primary professional experience so far. And I didn't know what to try next. And it was difficult when I would send out resumes or I was kind of looking around and I thought, oh, I'll try sales, I'll try this, I'll try
Mm,
that.
mhm.
Because I kind of knew that I didn't want to be specifically working in a school environment anymore or with kids in that capacity. That had really been very exhausting and not a good use of my talents. So I knew what I didn't want, but I was kind of licking my wounds and I didn't know what that other thing was. And I was kind of applying for jobs that I didn't even really want or care about, but I kind of didn't know what else to do.
Yeah, I remember you had a few ideas, right? Weren't you talking to like a financial planner or something in the
Yeah,
very beginning of when we were working together, I think.
yeah. That was one of the options that was
Right.
like they were like offering to train you and it was, you know, they had at least the places that I was looking said, "Oh, we have a lot of former teachers who are doing really well." And so I thought, okay, well, at least this is because I'm completely going into a new chapter. Maybe they'll train me. Um, you know, but but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe not quite the right thing.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, everybody comes in with either too many ideas and not exactly sure which one to focus in on. And some people have no idea because they don't know their skill set because they've been doing like you've been a teacher, that whole time. And it's like, what
Right.
are my skills? What are my strengths? So as we were kind of going through the program, what do you think really made the biggest impact, do you think? Or when you had an aha moment? Do you remember, any of the
From us
exercises?
working together?
Yeah. You
Um,
get a little bit more clarity in terms of like ideas and things like that.
yeah. Um, I guess it started one of the personality tests that you sent me. Um, because we had already made sort of a list, like an idea of any possible thing that I could possibly be interested in. And I think in like the first or second session, I mentioned grad school, kind of laughed at it. And you were like, no, nothing's off the table. So one of those personality tests mentioned people with your personality type typically kind of go for counseling. And it was that plus we had talked about how in my teaching I had seen kids who were not thriving, who were like not interested in being there. And so it was like a combination of realizing, oh, that's why I was unhappy teaching, because my job was to teach them math or whatever, instead of how are you doing? And, you know, why are you kind of uninspired? So it was like a few little kind of.
Right. I remember one story that you told me, and it was when we were reflecting on successes, or when you felt really good about the work. What were the pieces that you loved? And it was a story that you told about a kid that you helped. Do you remember?
I think so. Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of
at this point, but yeah.
Yeah,
Some kid who had trusted, who had like opened up to me after class about a situation he was dealing with.
Right. Because we all love to help people, and everybody that comes into this program is like, I want to help people. It's a universal value, but it's like, how do you want to help people? And that story really told me how you want to make a difference in people's lives. And that was like a moment that I remember pretty clearly, was that story that you told.
Yeah. And that was a cool moment also because, what was I saying? Because like some of the exercises that you gave me at first were difficult, because they were asking, because at first it was difficult to think of moments that were great from teaching. And so I had to really go to, okay, like it was almost like, okay, we've got like 3 good moments to choose from. But those 3 good moments, you know, gave us some answers. So it was nice that even though that was kind of a difficult exercise emotionally, it ended up giving us answers.
Yeah. And able to kind of develop how you want to help people.
Yeah.
So what do you think the 3 biggest things, you know, like results that you got from kind of working through this process together? What do you think the 3 like tangible results you got?
Well, I guess I moved, because that's one big thing. I was living at home at the time, which is very humbling. Thank you, Mom and Dad. And so I moved. And
well, let me just stop you there, because that was one of the goals that you set in, you know, the intake form, was I want to move out. Like that was one of your big goals. So that was awesome.
That was a goal.
You're living in Virginia.
Yeah. And I got into, and I'm now at grad school. So grad school is a big one, moving out, and I guess just gaining new skills and new confidence in the different kind of side jobs that I've had since then.
Right.
Because I really only worked with kids or teenagers in very, you know, in school settings. So I kind of didn't know different skills that I had, and I've been, so doing well with that.
There was a few things that I remember, like in the very beginning, because I think that this is common. And when you're embarking on this journey, it takes a little while, and people want it to kind of happen like this. And I remember you saying about yourself, which was a moment where I feel like you connected with how you usually are. It's like, I spend too much time reflecting and thinking. And so I remember you taking a different approach to this. It's like, no, I want to tune into my gut. I want to be more decisive in the moment. And I feel like that moment really sped things up for you, but in a good way. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, definitely. Because I was kind of wanting to get ahead of myself. And then you were like, no, like, I appreciate you having that insight, but actually we want to slow down and wait I think you said like, wait for the thoughts, the ideas to come. And then I was like, okay, all right. Kori's onto something. She's right.
And do you
It
remember?
calmed me down, actually.
Yeah, it's important to take that time to let things percolate as you're going through. Do you remember the moment that you got the clarity? Was there like a moment that you remember it's like, I'm going to grad school?
I think it was in one of our sessions where we were, again, it was like that word thrive, when I was like, I was trying to, I guess, explain why sometimes teaching was frustrating and how I wanted to help empower people. And it was like the buzzword thrive kept coming up. And then you kind of helped me like put it into my own words that I wanted to help people do that. So that was definitely a moment where I was like, oh, that's why I've been, that's what I wanted to do. Oh, no wonder it was hard for me to see people not having enough PE or whatever thing, whatever things from teaching used to bother me. I was like, oh, well, no wonder it bothered me, because I want to help people be empowered and I want to help people figure out why they're having whatever reaction to something. So that, I don't know if that was like the third or fourth or fifth session, but yeah.
One of those
like,
sessions.
From there, it was figuring out like life coach or like different types of therapists. And but that was the first one where I was like, oh, okay. It's been staring me in the face.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And then, it was easier that once you had that clarity, it's like, okay, I know what to do. What are the gaps? What are the things that, I need? So it was like, the research phase, which, you were looking into schools and talking with different schools and seeing which was going to be the best fit for you. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And the other thing that you wanted to do too, it's like once you made the decision, you were moving forward with that, you wanted to get a bridge job, something to kind of keep you busy in between, because you had about 4-month time frame before you were leaving. And so tell us about what you did in between time.
Yeah, I worked at Kate Spade. I worked at a local outlet mall in a seasonal sales job. And it was my first retail experience, and it was really, I learned a lot, and turns out I'm pretty good at sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was getting awards in her first 2 weeks working at Kate Spade.
Yeah. That we had a board in the back that kind of recognized like top sales or top sales per hour. There were different categories, and quite a few weeks in a row, I was at least somewhere, if not towards the top of that board. And I remember taking a picture because I was not used to kind of getting recognition in a positive way at work.
Which was, I think, one of your values, I think, that we uncovered. It was either value or work motivator.
So it turns out I kind of have always loved connecting with people, but turns out that, just like helping customers and striking up a conversation, making them feel comfortable, was something that I was good at and that I am still good at.
And I love it because you were not only, earning money, you were learning new skills, you were meeting people, you were seeing kind of what you like. And this job gave you the retail experience to get a new job in Virginia while you're going through school, which is, where are you working now?
The campus bookstore.
Yeah.
And because of my experience at my previous job, working at the cashier and working seasonal hours, which are very, very busy, after that, coming here, I was like, oh, the line is full of people. Like, it was a little stressful, but I was already used to things being sort of very high volume. So, it was kind of easier to just use the skills I already had and kind of help some of my underlings and kind of have that extra confidence. So, And
It's a nice
what other
combination.
new skills I want to pick up now that I like have that confidence. I'm like, what
Yeah,
else
I
can I
mean,
learn?
the world is yours, you know. I mean, now you're going to school, you're in the bookstore, you're meeting people, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? So it's like great community building, great networking as you're
yeah,
going
it is.
along. So tell us what therapy, like what kind of therapy you're going into now.
So I am on track to be a licensed clinical mental health counselor. So that's the degree. And I wanted to be on campus, like have a new community, and um, yeah, that was the program that was the track that I ended up choosing. So you
Amazing.
can have kind of clients from all walks of life, and you're sort of focused on, it's the same focus, like empowering people to kind of get solutions
Mhm.
themselves. So yeah, giving people coping strategies and, just helping people not feel so alone and not feel like they're going crazy, and just being like, no, this is a common thing, and let me help you deal with that. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
So you've got your new purpose-driven career. You're going to be in school for the next two years. Is that right?
3 years,
Three
yeah,
years.
probably a little longer, but I
Yeah.
mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
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 And
So you
even in my
made,
classes now, like I'm interested in the material, and I'm excited, and you know, that hasn't always been the case.
right. Yeah. I mean, you've come so far. You know, I think we started working about 6 months ago and unsure about what that future was going to be
Oh
to,
yeah.
moving from New Jersey to Virginia. You're in school, you've got a job, at the school bookstore, which is so exciting. So, what would you say to somebody who's, maybe watching this video right now, who is, in a similar situation to where you were about 6 months ago? They're kind of on the fence, they're a little scared to join. What would you say to them about, investing in themselves and in their future and in this program?
Uh, I would say do it. I would say, I think kind of everybody should be forced to do this.
Yeah.
Because it, like, I don't know, you have access to these worksheets and tools, but also, I don't know, you get like a different vocabulary. Like a lot of times I would be kind of rambling, and then you would help me, translate it, that no, this is like a skill that didn't that you needed to develop. Or I would, if you're kind of in your job and you're wondering like, why does this not feel right, or why don't I like my coworkers, or it just
Mhm.
feels like you can't get past this moment, or you can't find the courage to do something, and just working with you, like, it helps you realize, oh, this is the reason, and
Mhm.
oh, they're not meeting my values, or this is how you deal with the manager, and helps you kind of not make it so scary in your mind. And I also thought that skills Excel
Mhm.
sheet, where you see all the different kinds of specific skills that a person can have, gives just a lot of clarity. You're like, oh, okay. So, you can pick, oh, I'm good at these, and these. And then I think it's more helpful because a lot of times when you're looking for jobs, I don't know, it's like, here are the qualifications, must write, everybody wants a good writer and a good communicator and must be good at the computer. And
Detail oriented.
you're like, okay, well, that's not helpful. It's like,
Right.
okay, what am I supposed to do with that? So anyway, yes, you
So
should do it.
it's
You should commit to it. It'll change your life.
Yes, it does. And it's basically I think what you're saying is that, you're unhappy, right? But you
Yeah.
didn't know exactly why. And so now you were able to like clearly see what was missing and identify that, articulate it, and then kind of, you know, understand what it is that you do want, how you want to help people, how you want to use your skills and your strengths and all of that different stuff about yourself.
Yeah. So it was worth it.
Yeah, great. Well, it was a pleasure working with you. Thank you for trusting me as your coach. Thank you for trusting the process and trusting yourself. And if, Isabella's story is inspiring you, or you hear something within her story, and, you're in a similar situation and you're needing help, go to my website, koriburkholder.com, fill out a very short application, and, we'll have a quick phone call to work out if or how I can help you. And I look forward to connecting with you. And my name is Kori Burkholder, reminding you to take action, feel the fear, and do it anyways.